Not everyone is meant for private practice. Let's get into it while I get ready. I realized that as somebody who has a business off of helping folks to start and grow their practice, it feels counterproductive for me to say that not everybody is maybe meant to or ready to have a private practice, but I feel like it's something that isn't talked about enough and is just realistically very true. Last year, I met with friends of a therapist that I knew, and they wanted to talk about getting off of insurance panels. They wanted to talk about what that would look like in their practice, what they could do, make more money in their practice to not deal with the headaches of insurance companies. Of course, I agreed. I love this energy. I totally get why somebody would want to do that. And I left this meeting so kerfluffled. I was giving like very direct and straightforward plans and advice on what it looks like to leave insurance companies, how to assess your contract and how to read your contract so that you know how to get out, when to get out, what that process looks like for you. And then of course I had to go into marketing because marketing a private pay practice is so much different than marketing an insurance-based practice. And as I'm going through all of these different changes that have to be made logistically in the practice, and then of course like a real marketing plan that you have to have when you go into being private pay, there was a couple therapists, it was like a small group of us, there was a couple therapists that everything that I said, they were just like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And even sort of like sneering or like chuckling at the insight that I was giving and kind of like what it looks like to be successful in like the private pay out-of-network world. This is based on not only like the business side education that I have, but also like the real world experience of like what I've done in my own practice to keep it going for 6 years now. Like I said, this meeting was a year ago and I still think about it. It sticks with me because it's like, what is a way that I can talk about the fact that like, you don't have to go into private practice. You don't have to become like a private pay practice. Like there is nothing wrong with looking for a group practice or with having a private practice and doing it on something like a Headway or an Elma, or being personally in network with insurances through like your individual contracts. Feel like you should want more out of your practice. Like feel like you should be doing it differently. You should be private pay. You should be charging $300 an hour. I know for me, like private practice, obviously I want to make a livable income. Of course, money is of matter when it comes to private practice, but I think more so than that, like for me, I went into private practice as like a quality of life standpoint. Like I wanted to make my own hours. I wanted to be in charge of my caseload. I just wanted like a better balance in life. And if having a private practice where you're in network with insurance, and I bet people have hesitations because they are these like larger scale companies, but also if that's what's helping you to break into the private practice world, and like that's the first step that you're taking for your practice or to start getting clients, to start earning money, like who is anybody to poo-poo on that? At the end of the day, we all need to start from somewhere. What sticks with me from this meeting is just like, can't help but wonder, like, did these therapists like actually want to off the insurance panels, like make more money, go to like a fully private pay model, or is this just what they like felt like they had to do? And I just don't want people feeling like they like have to do it a certain way. I just think at the end of the day, the way that you're doing your practice, if it feels fulfilling for you, if you're helping the clients that you set out to serve, if you're making a livable income with minimal administrative headaches, because there's always going to be administrative headaches that pop up here and there, then I think that's a successful practice. When I started doing like consulting for private practice, like the first, I don't even know, like 10 or 15 pages of my guide to starting your private practice, and like the thing that I'm always talking about is building it in a way that aligns with your values and your goals and aligning your personal goals with your professional goals. And I just think that it's easy to get lost in the sauce of like income goals, 6-figure practices, charging $300 an hour, never touching insurance. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. And I think like that's also why I love doing things like the community or doing like one-on-ones with people, because there are so many different ways to do it. And it's like, I love to support people like in whatever way that they're doing it. I love to figure out what they're doing, figure out why they're doing it, and like, is there a way to make it work better for them? So if you needed permission to run your practice however you see fit, even if it is different than the norm or different than the way that people around you are doing it, then consider this your permission to do that.